Hello, and thank you for joining us here on the Neutral Zone. I am Phil Milani, joined as always by my trusty sidekick, my partner in crime. Really, the best way to describe this person is my everything. It's at Eric Dalala.
Phil, it's finally game week. We've arrived.
Yes, finally. So much talk about preseason games, training camp. Let's talk about a real game.
I like it. We might as well. We've waited long enough.
Broncos heading on the road here week one at the Giants. We'll break down this game. We'll talk about a few different storylines I think that are important heading into this one, including what can Teddy Bridgewater do in his Broncos debut to win over Broncos fans.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly has work to do, Phil. There's this consensus, well, maybe not a consensus, but just this opinion out there from a lot of people. I don't know if it's a vocal minority or what you would call it, but certainly a lot of people out there, Phil, that are not thrilled with the decision. They need to see more from Teddy Bridgewater. I think there's a way he can go out and take a really good first step in week one.
Definitely. I think it's more fans were excited about the possibilities of what Drew Lock could have been. And then now if Teddy goes out there and wins, if he plays well, then I think fans will start to be like, all right, I'm more of a Broncos fan than I was just a Drew Lock fan.
Yeah.
So
I think so.
Yeah. We'll talk about the Broncos pass rush going up against the Giants offensive line. That could be an area where the Broncos might have an advantage, although Bradley Chubb, some injury concerns there.
Yeah, we're going to have to see with Bradley, of course, but I think with or without Bradley Chubb, that could be a real advantage for Denver, maybe where this game could be won.
Yeah, I think that if you get after Daniel Jones a little bit, maybe that's where you can have an advantage, especially for this Broncos defense. Vic Fangio said this week that he wants 2 to 3 turnovers every game.
Should be the expectation, I think. You know, if you're going to have the number one defense or a top 5 defense, it's got to be about more than yards, more than sacks. It's got to be takeaways. And they didn't do that last year. They've got to do it this year.
Eric, it's the season opener. Okay,
yeah.
We're going to talk about maybe our favorite Broncos season openers that we remember. I know some games come to mind. We'll get to that here. The Broncos, have the highest winning percentage for week one in the NFL.
That's it's a good stat there, Phil.
Yeah.
Are you going to bring back 2 truths and a lie at some point?
Maybe 2 truths and a lie. Maybe we can bring that back. That's where I say 2 truths, 1 lie, but sometimes it's all like 3 lies or it's all truths. I just kind of keep you on your toes.
Maybe a future episode.
That's a fun game that true members of NZ Nation will be able to recall.
That's right.
So, yes, our favorite season openers, and then we'll get to some predictions. I know we got some Super Bowl predictions. We'll have some predictions for the game, maybe some other things too. Could be kind of nice.
Who knows what we'll say.
Could be kind of nice. Eric, it's the season opener. Things around the facility a little bit more buttoned up this week.
Yeah, that's right.
We got to get down to business.
The polos are gone. We're wearing nice shirts.
Nice shirts. I got a haircut.
Yeah.
Eric, that's why it's time to get serious, but this is the Neutral Zone. We like to keep things pretty light, Eric.
That's true.
We checked out the YouTube comments here. Cameron Petaway. I really like AD because he brings honest commentary. He's a facts guy. We need someone to tell us if we stink or not. Eric, is that you?
I think that's me, Phil. We know here on the Neutral Zone, many people believe I'm kind of the logical one, the one with the facts, the good takes. You're the emotional one. You're the heartbeat of this podcast, Phil.
I tend to be just an emotional guy.
Yeah, that's true.
You're a logical guy, I guess.
Yeah. Exactly. If there's a little statistic or a code or a formula,
that's you.
Yeah.
Yeah. An algorithm.
Ooh.
Yeah. Another comment here. Abe Haley, maybe? Hale?
Haley?
Man, you guys are good. Thank you for keeping us fed during this long stretch.
Yeah, it must be a liquid diet, Phil, because we just bring the juice.
That's true. Sauce.
Every episode.
Sauce and juice.
Yeah.
Liquid diet. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not being sarcastic, right?
I don't think so.
You guys are good.
Maybe people are doing a little bit of intermittent fasting because, you listen to the Neutral Zone sometimes in the afternoon if you're on your way home from work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do. I think you do the fasting in the morning, though, right?
That's true. That's what I'm saying is you get your food, which is the Neutral Zone, after a morning or a day of fasting.
Maybe your commute back. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Jim Toft, Eric, loved your article on the experience in the booth for Steve Levy.
Thanks, Jim.
Did you do something with Steve Levy?
Yeah. check it out on DenverBroncos.com.
Okay. Jim Toft also says, hair looks great, but not sure about that red shirt, Phil. I did wear a red shirt last week.
It's bad.
That was probably bad optics.
Yeah. We don't like anything red around here.
Yeah, exactly.
I was a little different today, Phil. You're wearing blue for the New York Giants.
What are you wearing green for?
This is
except for the Packers.
Can't really talk about that. That would be a tampering thing.
Yeah.
But I do during the season, Phil. I try not to wear like a tie that might accidentally.
That's true. All my ties are orange, so
I like to
exclusive.
mix it up a little.
No,
I got a blue one with a few little horsies on it.
Yeah,
it's kind of nice.
Horsies, huh? Broncos.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it.
Palio.
Got it. Yeah. Sienna.
Yeah.
Got it.
Let's
Okay.
go.
Colin Harrington says, at Phil Milani, Sco Bears over the Buffs on Friday.
Yeah.
That did not happen, Colin. I'm sorry to inform you. It was not as big of a blowout as I thought. The Buffs only scored 35 points.
I didn't think college football started till this coming weekend.
Your Cats, unfortunately,
they didn't play. They had the weekend off, and they're going to start this weekend against.
They didn't
Indiana
play Michigan
State,
right?
No, that didn't happen. They canceled that game.
Got it.
I think Colin Harrington left a voicemail too, Phil.
Oh yes, he did. Yeah, he tried to say Sco. We don't have time to play that. Sorry, Colin. Next time. And then the last one I wanted to read here is Glauber Ferreira.
Okay.
He just says great show. So, thank you, Glauber. Appreciate it.
You have a friend, Bob Glauber, is that right?
Yes, that's true. He was just recognized by the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Covers the Giants.
Well, maybe it's him.
Yeah. It's possible. I don't think so, but it's
not.
Probably not.
But thank you, Glauber.
Yeah, exactly. If you'd like to be a part of the show and want your comment read, just leave one right here if you're watching on YouTube. Smash that subscribe button, too. Eric, you could leave a voicemail. You mentioned Colin left a voicemail, 707-NEUTRAL.
That's right.
And if maybe you're shy, you don't want to leave a voicemail. How can you?
Yeah, we'll put this in terms that Ben Swanson might understand.
Yeah.
You're a little perennial in the shade. You're afraid to reach out into the sun, but you still need nutrients.
Yeah, because trees don't grow in the shade.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could leave an email at neutralzoneshow@gmail.com.
Yes, and we'll read the email right here on the show. Those are all the ways you can get involved. You can just hit us up on Twitter at Eric Dalala with an A, at Phil Milani with a PH, non-traditional spellings.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
And next week, there's one more way you can get involved in the show.
I thought you were never going to talk about
there was
it. I
one more way.
Buried the lead a little bit.
We did bury the lead a little bit. Some exciting news, Eric, for the Neutral Zone.
That's right, Phil. Every single Monday for the rest of time, at least during this season, we will be broadcasting the Neutral Zone live at the Breckenridge Brewery Farmhouse in Littleton.
We're going to be recording it live.
Recording it live.
Sorry. It won't be
let's start this whole thing over.
Yeah. Scratch that. We'll edit that. Yeah, we'll edit.
No, we won't.
Okay, Eric, some exciting news.
But no, every Monday, Phil, at 6 p.m., people can come by. They can listen to us record the Neutral Zone. We'll take some fan questions. This first episode after the New York Giants game on September 13th, our buddy, our pal, the Hoff, Steve Atwater, he's going to join us. I'm excited, Phil. Every Monday it gives people a chance to come and be a part of the show, celebrate some wins, toss back a couple of bevies safely and responsibly.
Yes, of course.
I'm excited to see where things go.
I know. I think that it could be fun just to, we get these comments and we get everything, we gather all the voicemails and the emails, but to see it in person, have some fans right there. I know NZ Nation will show up. The Breckenridge Brewery Farmhouse.
That's right, in Littleton, Colorado.
Right off of Santa Fe there.
Yep. Check out DenverBroncos.com for more information. But, it should be a cool deal. Hopefully we see some members of Neutral Zone Nation there. Tom Magnetti's coming out for that Washington game, I think.
That's true.
Tom, if you don't have to leave till Tuesday morning, come join us on Monday. Jeff Flanagan, get out here from California.
Yep.
Brandon from Iowa,
come out.
Come on out. We got a lot of long distance.
Those are our favorites. Yeah, those are our favorites.
Yeah, John Jornad, I have no idea where you live.
He better come out because he's a big fan of yours.
That's right.
Not so much me.
Rick Owens, there will be
a lot of football talk.
A lot of football, some nonsense.
Yeah.
Lisa Lane. I mean,
yes,
just the whole crew.
Are you surprised that a company wanted to get behind the show?
Yeah. I'm surprised it wasn't West Rock Coffee.
I know, because we've given them a lot of free.
Yeah, exactly. Gold package, elephant on the front. we probably should never mention them again. It's all about Breckenridge Brewery.
Breckenridge Brewery.
Some of the best beer I've ever had.
Exactly.
I've never had a beer that good.
And if it goes well, maybe we'll get some mic stands.
Yeah, that's the next thing on the list.
Yeah.
But there could be stickers at some point.
Could be some stickers. We're working on some stickers, maybe some social giveaways. Maybe like if you leave a voicemail, maybe a sticker might be coming in the mail.
Ooh, that could be nice.
Yeah.
We're going to get more voicemails than ever before, maybe.
You could put that sticker anywhere you want.
And the good news is, Phil, I believe there's televisions there. So if you come out to listen to the neutral
watch Monday
zone,
Night Football after.
Yeah, you could watch Monday Night Football. If you get bored of us, you could just go to a different table.
That's true. You can put in your headphones and just not listen to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it'll probably be about an hour, I would say, generally.
I think so. 6 to 7, right about that.
Mountain Daylight Time.
And if it keeps, or
Mountain Standard Time later in the year.
Sometimes, that's what I was going to say, yeah.
But later.
Yeah. And if it goes really well, we'll have to get security out there just because it's going to be.
Yeah, the fans.
Yeah, it could be too much.
You've said you'll sign foreheads, but nothing else.
Yeah. And I'll only sign for 3 hours after.
Yeah.
Yeah, after that.
Right.
I got to get home.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Breckenridge Brewery every Monday during the season.
September 13th.
At the farmhouse.
Steve Atwater. We're going to make the farmhouse a farm home.
Yes, we will. Memories. Warmth. It's going to be nice.
Especially, Phil, when we get into like November and December. It's a cold winter's night.
Yeah.
You just need a nice stout to warm you up.
And the voice will have to go down to like,
welcome to Breckenridge
welcome
Brewery.
in.
Farmhouse.
Eric, what did you think about the Broncos contest?
Yeah, exactly.
The game.
Yeah, Phil. Well, their 12th consecutive win was one to behold.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, check it out. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Do you think you would enjoy, like, after a win, you're obviously going to enjoy a celebratory beer, but you could probably use a beer after a loss too, right?
Both.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
I would drink Breckenridge beers
anyway. It doesn't even really need to be a game. All right, let's dive into...
Please drink responsibly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll have our lawyers. There'll be a message at the end of the show.
That too.
Exactly. Yeah. Eric, let's get into our first topic of conversation here. The Broncos, Week 1, heading out to the Meadowlands in MetLife Stadium here, facing the Giants. What can Teddy Bridgewater do in this game to finally win over Broncos fans?
Win. I mean, there's more to it than that, but you got to win.
That's what he says, right?
Yeah. He's not worried about the stats. Not worried about if he throws for 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, 300 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Trevor Siemian.
You got to win. And so that's where it starts, and that's playing good football by not turning the ball over. I think if Teddy could get out of this first game without an interception, without a fumble, because those did plague him a little bit last year, Phil. That would be good. Get the ball in the hands of your playmakers. Take a couple shots down the field when you have that opportunity. Play good football early in the game and late in the game. That's something that I took away from his press conference on Wednesday. He said good teams are good early in the game, and then he's got kind of that calming presence that if it's close on the road in the fourth quarter, you kind of believe that he's not going to – Melvin Gordon said that. He's not going to be too high, too low. He's going to get people ready to go, kind of transfers that feeling of calm. So if he can play well at those two kind of bookends of the game, I think that's going to result in some stats. So, do I expect him to go out there and throw for 300 yards? Probably not. But I think if you could put up 250 with a couple of touchdowns, no interceptions, lead a double-digit win, any win is good, but especially if you could get a double-digit win on the road, I think people would be going into week 2 saying, maybe we need to give Teddy a chance here.
Yeah, I think just winning, we've talked so much about how important the start of the season is for the Broncos, have not won a September game with Vic Fangio as the head coach. If they could just go out there and get a win, I think people will say, okay, well, that's why they picked Teddy Bridgewater to be the quarterback. And, I think that week 1, there's always a little bit of jitters. Everybody's kind of feeling it out, and there's some surprise teams out there that get big wins, and there's just week 1 is a little bit funny, and maybe a guy like Teddy Bridgewater, who's calm, who comes to work the same way every day, if he could just go out there and be the same guy we saw in Minnesota, the same guy we saw in Seattle, the same guy we saw that third drive against the Rams, I think Broncos fans are going to say, okay, this is why the Broncos chose Teddy Bridgewater. And you said it, get the ball to his playmakers. He talked about Courtland Sutton a little bit. He said that when he gets to game day, Courtland Sutton turns into a different person. I just think that this team is loaded with weapons that he could go out and throw for 300 yards. There's no reason why. He talked about taking shots down the field. He said with this team, that's going to be a big part of the offense is when those shots are there, take them. And even the Giants head coach, Joe Judge, said that the Broncos wide receiver core is one of the best in the NFL.
Yeah, it's not to discount what Teddy can do by saying I don't know that he'll necessarily throw for 300. It's that I think the running game is going to be a really big part of what you do. And so if you get enough yards there, it kind of takes away from what you're doing. But I think the biggest thing with Teddy, that Phil, is, and you touched on it, he's the same guy. And so the season opener, sometimes variance can really hurt you. And so what I like about Teddy is that you kind of know what you're going to get from some extent, or to some extent, when you go into this game. I don't think there's a chance that he's going to go out there and just like completely bomb. And Drew has a lot of potential. We've talked about it. I think that there's a chance that going into this game, the way I would have felt is like Drew could go out there and throw for 4 touchdowns, or he could go out there and turn the ball over a couple of times, and you could lose that game. And with Teddy, I'm less concerned about like the worst case scenario.
Do you feel more confident going in there with Teddy?
I do, because I don't think that worst case scenario comes into play. And I think when you look at a lot of the teams that the Broncos face this year, I think their roster is better in a lot of situations where you say, okay, the Broncos roster stacks up really well against the Giants, against the Jaguars, against the Jets. Even I think you look at teams like the Ravens and the Steelers, their roster
right there
stacks up. Yeah, exactly. They're right there. And so if you can have quarterback play that is capable enough and you're not going to have that worst case scenario, to me, I feel a lot more comfortable. And so, yeah, I do feel more comfortable with Teddy Bridgewater going into week 1. Feel like the chances of a win are much better. And part of that is I talk about variation kind of between the two quarterbacks. Also, drive the drive. What I've seen with Teddy is that one bad drive doesn't really spiral. He's been able to, and we only saw it once in the preseason, but he had a field goal drive that didn't go so great, and then had the 3-and-out and responded to that 3-and-out with a long touchdown drive. You're not going to score on every possession in the NFL. The best teams in the NFL score like 3.5 points per possession or something like that. So you've just got to respond well, and I think Teddy can do that.
Here's one reason why I think maybe you might see some shots this week is because Pat Shurmur going back to New York facing his old team and the Giants. I think he's the kind of guy who might say, I'm going to show you what you're missing out here. He might dial up some tricks. He might dial up something and have Teddy really take some shots down the field and maybe get up to, the high 20s or something like that.
The high 20s.
In points.
Oh.
That would be nice.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
We can do that.
That could be nice.
I think so. I don't expect everything to be perfect in week 1. I think there's going to be, we've talked about the red zone really being important, third down. I think you're going to look back at this first game and say, oh, they can clean things up here. They can clean things up there. The Giants last year, Phil, I believe, had the second-ranked red zone defense in the NFL. So they're almost as good down there as the Broncos have been.
Yep.
So it won't be easy, and maybe that's where, if you can get the ball to Courtland Sutton deep and you don't have to take a red zone chance later, maybe that's good.
It's a good defense here in New York.
So I don't expect things to be perfect, but I would say somewhere in that like 23, 24, 25. If you could get up to there, if you can get to 24 points every week, your defense should be good enough that you should win a lot of these games.
Yeah, I think so too. The Giants, one of the best defenses, so. And typically offenses, it takes a little while to get rolling. Like I think the Broncos, they only scored like 13 points last year against the Titans, I think, in that week 1 matchup. Yeah, I think they lost 16-13, right?
I think it was 16-14.
14 maybe. Okay.
I think they needed that last field goal to win, I believe.
Got it. Okay. Let me put you on the spot a little bit here.
Yeah.
Do you think that Teddy is operating with a little bit of a short, he might get swapped out here if, say, at halftime it's not going well? No. That's not going to happen, right?
Nope. No, I don't think, barring injury, I think Teddy plays the entire game. Okay. I think he gets all of next week as well. And really, I think you probably have to give him a chance to start week 3 against the Jets. And then if that goes south, then maybe you consider a change. But what I would say is that if you're losing to this week is a little different because it's a good defense, but if you were to go on the road and lose to the Jaguars or you were to lose to the Jets, there's probably a lot more going on that's going wrong than just Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
In my mind. And I think a new guy, we heard him talk on Wednesday about it's going to take some time to learn the offense. Vic Fangio said there's a reason the Buccaneers played so well late in the season with Tom Brady. It takes a few weeks. You need to build towards something. So I think as long as you're winning, or I guess even if you split the first two or something like that, I think Teddy's going to have some room to grow here, some leniency. Only if it gets, 0-3, 0-4, 1-5. That's when I would think you could turn to Drew Lock and see, hey, can he save this? But if I were Vic Fangio, I would not consider going to Drew Lock until at least week 3.
Yeah, I agree. What would be nice is if the Broncos went out there and played well enough on offense that we can stop talking about this type of stuff.
Well, and I think you look at, I'm trying to remember which site it was. I think it was ESPN. I think they graded Teddy as the 19th best quarterback. Or it was 538.
Yeah, that's
the
what I was
statistics website that Nate Silver runs. They graded Teddy as the 19th best quarterback. Last year, of course, Drew graded out as the worst quarterback in football. So any jump, and that's not to take a shot at Drew, but any jump in play, especially if you can get to 19, which is very close to league average, I think you're going to be looking, you're going to say, okay, well, that means you've gotten the ball to Jerry Jeudy, to Cortland Sutton, and Noah Fant. Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams are playing well. You're scoring in the low to mid-20s, and you're probably feeling all right. And like you said, Phil, you're not going to be thinking about going away from Teddy. You're going to be thinking, hey, can we beat the Baltimore Ravens at home? Can we go on the road and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers? Can we put ourselves in a really good position here through the first quarter of the season?
Yep.
And I just hope, I said this in our mailbag, I hope that people aren't, there are a lot of questions about how short is Teddy's leash. I hope people aren't rooting for that, Phil, because that's the wrong outlook to have. You need to be saying, hey, let's go get behind Teddy. Let's see what the Broncos can do. But before a snap has even been played, your thought shouldn't be, when can we get rid of this guy?
The notion, though, that Teddy, this is his first year in the offense, I guess the flip side to that is that, well, Drew's already played a year in this offense. He should be able to hit the ground running. I guess that tells you what Teddy was able to do here is that even though it was his first year, he was still able to beat out Drew and win this job. So I'm not necessarily buying it that it's just, hey, it's his first year. He's even said that a lot of the terminology, he's got it down. He feels like, he's a veteran in this league, that he's going to be able to really get things going here to start. Maybe it takes a while for the whole offense to really get running, especially against a good defense like the Giants. But the whole thing that it's just his first year, you got to be patient with him. I'm not sure if I'm buying that.
Okay, I mean, I think it's less to me about like knowing the offense and running it. It's little things that take time. Like if he sees Cortland Sutton lined up on the right and notices a certain kind of coverage,
just gives him a little.
Yeah, you need some time to kind of work on those things. So that to me is what comes with time. And you're right about Teddy learning the offense. I mean, Pat Shurmur said very early in training camp, Teddy's caught up to Drew.
Yeah.
So that speaks to how much work Teddy must have put in, how, what sort of benefit he must have as a veteran, having learned some different systems. But I also do think if all goes well, the offense should be better in November or December than it is in September.
Continue to get better and evolve and everything, of course, yeah. I think that I'm excited. I mean, we've only seen him play like 3 series every preseason game. The best part about the first regular season game is, okay, now it's for real. Now there's some scheming going on. Now we're going to see him make adjustments. Part of winning in the NFL is coming in with a good game plan, seeing what the Giants do, and then adjusting. That's like one of the reasons why like a guy like Mike Shanahan was so good, Gary Kubiak, making those in-game adjustments. Finally, we'll get a chance to see some real football and see how this thing goes.
And I think that there's, people talk about the short passes or the checkdowns or whatever. It's frustrating to a defense, Phil, when you complete
Derek Carr.
Exactly. That's
did that
exactly
so
what
many times.
When you think of Derek Carr playing Denver, I think there was a game he went 31 of 33, and the Raiders lost.
You can't sack him.
They lost a close game, but you can't get to him because he's throwing the ball too fast. He's completing too many passes, so you're picking up like easy yards, and it doesn't mean you're scoring on every drive, but it's just as a defense, it becomes demoralizing, I think, to see someone complete that many passes. I think it could be the same thing with Teddy here, and just probably a more talented roster around him than what Derek Carr has to
Yeah, I was
going to
say maybe Derek Carr hasn't experienced that success in terms of wins, but
2016.
with a good defense and some more playmakers, then maybe you do start winning some serious games, make the playoffs or whatever. So excited to see what Teddy Bridgewater can do here week 1 against the Giants. Let's talk about the other side of the football here, Eric. Hoping to see Von Miller and Bradley Chubb out there together, a chance to go up against a Giants offensive line that not really their strongest part of their team, and then Daniel Jones coming into his 3rd year here in the NFL.
Yeah, I think you look at left tackle for the Giants, Andrew Thomas, that's who Bradley Chubb would be lining up against. If he can't go, it's probably Malik Reed there or Jonathan Cooper. And then Von Miller going against Nate Solder on the other side, who's
Let's go Buffs.
A good
Colin, I know you're still watching.
A good player, but didn't play last year. I don't think you know exactly what you're going to get from him. Didn't necessarily pan out right when he got there. So some opportunities, and all reports are that the offensive line has not looked great out in New York. So Draymond Jones up the middle. Daniel Jones has been known to turn the ball over. He doesn't do
10
a lot.
interceptions last year.
He doesn't do it a lot deep down the field. He's actually pretty good at the deep passing, but in intermediate throws when he's pressured, I think there's an opportunity there to get to him, to set up some 3rd and longs and kind of pin your ears back. And that to me, Phil, is, in most games, 24 points or 20 points or whatever, it's going to put you in position that you're at least in the game. But I think people might be surprised by how few points the Broncos could allow this weekend, just because I think they're going to make life really miserable. Vic Fangio has a whole offseason to kind of prep for this game. You've got Pat Surtain, who you can use in a variety of ways, and people don't really have that on film yet. To me, this could be a really exciting defensive performance. Kind of similar a few years ago. I don't know if you remember the Seahawks game. Vaughn just kind of came alive. I think 3 sacks, had a forced fumble.
Oh, yeah. I remember, of course.
2018, I believe.
Yes. I remember that.
I could see a similar type performance in terms of pass rush, and maybe the offense isn't quite as successful even as the Seahawks, just because Russell Wilson is an all-world player. But, yeah, I could see big things this weekend.
You heard Vic Fangio even say that the way that this defense is stacking up here, it's going to make things very easy to disguise what they're trying to do. You might see some unexpected blitzes, that kind of thing. I do think that this Broncos defense is going to be really stingy. They didn't give up a touchdown in the preseason, right?
They did not.
The only team not to give up?
Correct.
I think you tweeted that.
Did I?
At Eric Dalala with an A, folks. That's where you want to find out information just like that. I do think that Pat Surtain, the second, I think, an excellent candidate for Defensive Player of the Year as a rookie Defensive Player of the Year. I say it a different way. That's okay, right? I'll get in there.
It means the same thing.
It means the exact same thing. But if Bradley Chubb can stay healthy and be out there, then obviously that's what makes this pass rush special. Bradley Chubb, a little bit of a tough week here with the injury, and then also getting detained earlier this week by the Douglas County Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, but you hope you can just move past that, because it's the last thing you need is a distraction. I think we know Bradley, a good guy. Vic Fangio mentioned, this type of thing happens, but you'd like to be able to see him kind of move past the injury. I think the injury, to me at least, is the more pressing concern, because that's going to control whether or not he's on the field or not. It doesn't sound like Vic Fangio was planning to sit him for disciplinary reasons. I just think
you don't want this to pop up the first week of the regular season.
No, it's not ideal.
It's got to be a little bit more mature, got to be able to handle some of these things. I think that the Broncos brass probably communicated that to him.
Broncos brass.
You like that?
Is that one of our shows?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
No.
That could be a good show.
That could be.
Yeah.
Maybe a segment on the show,
Ooh.
on this show.
Could be really nice. No, I think the defense with Bradley out there, especially
much better,
healthy Bradley, it changes, because what he does well is different than Vaughn. Vaughn is that speed guy. He's going to go quickly around you. He's going to dip below you. Bradley can just knock you backwards. And so you kind of like how those work in concert together.
Yeah, and the depth behind.
Definitely.
A couple of years ago, we did not know who Malik Reed was.
Certainly
You know what I
before
mean?
before he joined the team, I had no idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm saying
10
he's
years
not
ago,
like
no idea.
a high draft pick who's come in here
Thibodeau.
who's been all world his
That his
entire
name?
life. Huh?
Is that the Oregon kid's name, Thibodeau?
Yes, I believe so. Kayvon, is that right? I think that's his name.
Yeah.
Probably a top 3 pick coming out. Yeah.
Hurt.
Huh?
He's hurt.
Yeah. But he's going to be a top 3 pick.
Yeah.
He's one of the best players in college football. But I think that then you're looking at Jonathan Cooper, a 7th round pick here. So this is what you're left with, that pass rusher. So they need Bradley Chubb to be focused, ready to go, and healthy.
Yeah, no, I mean, no doubt. I think he can survive. To me, it becomes about how serious is this. If it's something where, like, if he doesn't play this weekend, it's going to heal up and you're good to go, then I'd consider sitting. If this is something that's going to linger, that's not good news for the Broncos.
Is it more concerning to you that, like, he's had some things keep popping up? You know, obviously the ACL 2 years ago, this offseason, the foot surgery, now this. It's a pattern.
Is it more concerning than what?
Just if it was just like a one-off type of deal.
Yeah, I mean, of course, if you have more than one thing.
I mean, it's not the same foot, right?
Different ankle, yeah.
Different ankle, but it's a pattern.
Yeah, I mean, you need guys to stay on the
To
field.
hold up.
And obviously, the 5th overall pick, expectations are higher for him than they are for somebody else. And so, yeah, I think this was the season that Bradley needed to take that step. He can still do it. But certainly in week 1, he's up against it a little bit, you know, between the legal troubles and the injury. I think nobody would probably enjoy more going out there and performing well than Bradley Chubb. That would put all this in the review mirror. You don't have to worry about it, and it would be good for the team.
Well, we'll see what his status is like come Sunday if he's available to go. I think that'll be a big boost to this Broncos defense, and it could be a big day for him if he is able to go, just facing that Giants offensive line. Eric, let's move on to our next topic here. Our favorite season openers in Broncos history here, at least those that come to mind. Eric, let's start with yours.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I think the biggest one is the Stokely down the sideline.
Kyle Orton.
Got it. Yeah, Gus Johnson, of course.
Gus Johnson, yes.
On the call there against the Bengals, starting the year 2009, I believe.
Yeah, that was Josh McDaniels' first game as Broncos head coach.
Yeah, I mean, that's just that's probably one of the great Broncos moments just in general in the last 2 decades.
Yes,
in terms of
a miracle play.
Exactly.
Really cool.
That one stands out to me, one, and then I think another one that stands out to me, my first regular season game ever that also happened to be a good Broncos game, was that 2016 opener against the Panthers. At the time, everybody thought, like, these are still the 2 best teams in the league. Panthers got out to a lead. Broncos come back. Chris Harris Jr. makes it an unreal diving interception late. I think DeMarcus Ware had a big sack in that game, if I remember properly. And then Graham Gano makes the field goal at first, but Gary Kubiak had iced the kicker, then hits the upright on the second one.
Graham Gano good.
Exactly. That was a great win.
Yeah.
The place was pumped because John Elway, Terrell Davis, Peyton Manning, they'd all walked out with the Lombardi trophies before the game.
Yeah.
Place was jacked
Trevor
up.
Simeon's first game.
Oh, was it also?
I think that's probably why it was your favorite.
I think that's purely coincidental.
Yeah. I think then they really got after Cam Newton, too, in that game.
They
so,
did.
like,
Darian,
back-to-back games.
Darian Stewart put one of the biggest hits I've ever seen on Cam Newton. They just battered him the entire game.
The season openers, pretty much when Peyton Manning was here, were all very special. His first one against the Steelers, the Broncos win that game. Nobody knew what Peyton was going to be like coming back from his neck surgery. Obviously, a special game. Then in 2013, the revenge game against the Ravens. I don't know if you remember, Eric, but Joe Flacco's banner was up on the stadium. They had just broken the hearts of all Broncos country. Then Peyton Manning goes out there and throws 7 touchdowns on him. That's got to be my favorite. I don't think that you can top just the emotion that was in that stadium that night. The next year, 2014, he beats the Colts finally in the season opener. I mean, that's the only time he'd ever beaten the Colts. And then there in 2015, kicking off the Super Bowl 50 campaign, another win against the Ravens. So all 4 of his season openers very special.
Yeah, 4 dubs.
4 dubs.
Important
That's how he did it.
Important to start the season on the right note.
Yeah. I know those are all recent memory, but those are some special ones.
I'm only like 7 years old, so.
Well, John Elway, his debut did not go very well.
No.
So that, like his as a rookie, so that definitely is not one. Maybe if anybody remembers those, let us know.
Yeah,
some of those.
I mean,
ones.
even in recent years, Phil, the seasons have not been good, but some of these season openers have been pretty entertaining.
But to me, expectations heading into the season kind of build.
Yeah.
I mean, those Peyton Manning games, a lot of those were on Sunday Night Football.
Of course.
Those are like the big ones. There's kind of a specialness to that.
Yeah, but you have the the 2017 Vance Joseph having the time of his life.
That is true.
The
That
game
was
against
a
the Chargers. That was a fun game.
Yeah. That was where Simeon juked Joey Bosa at the goal line.
Another
one of your
good
favorite.
Trevor Simeon moment. Huh. Interesting how that keeps happening. Yeah.
Maybe,
and then 2018, I think that was.
Maybe my favorite one might be
well.
2021 here coming up against the Giants.
The dub.
You just don't know what's it.
Yeah, that's true. My favorite one is the next one.
Exactly.
Like a little bit like Tom in that regard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what happened in 2018 was a Seahawks game, of course. That was a good win as well, but maybe not quite as.
Sorry, I know you tried to keep talking there, but you and Tom Brady are on first name basis.
Yeah, he listens to the
I
Neutral
just didn't
Zone.
know that. Okay, Tom.
What's up, Tom?
Tom. Okay, yeah. But yes, I think getting off to a good start is very important. This Broncos team, a lot of energy coming off the preseason, developing this winning mindset, this winning attitude. A win on Sunday, it kind of carries it into the season, and then starting hot is important. I think the Broncos have won like 7 consecutive season openers until losing the last 2.
Other than that, Miss Lincoln.
Other than those last 2,
yeah,
really good.
just forget about it.
Forget about those last 2.
Yeah, no, that's
Starting a new tradition.
They have been good.
A new streak.
There was a comment on YouTube, Phil, that someone said they lost a lot of respect for us as fellas because
We said it's a must-win.
we said it's a must-win.
Yeah.
Well, all the goodwill
It is a must-win.
It is all the goodwill that you've built up, all the kind of the positive energy that you've built up all off season. We're on a train right now, Phil. We're putting the coal in the engine. I don't know if they still do that or not.
They're still boarding right now. We're about
right,
to.
but we're packing up everything.
Yep.
Putting some coal into the engine, getting ready to go.
Yeah.
We're trying to head to. We normally go to Click City.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're
Our
trying
content.
to head toward
Yeah.
Tuttytown, toward Playoffville.
For the podcast, we download city.
Yeah. Different. Take 285.
Yeah.
If you lose in week 1, Phil, it's like the train goes off the tracks right away from just an emotional standpoint of, gosh, here we go again. So I think winning the season opener, there's 3 things. 1, it's emotional because you have to continue to keep the momentum going. 2, you just need these wins because if you look at the schedule, it's going to be hard to find 10 or 11 games to win. So you need every single one you can get. And then 3, I think this is the biggest one, is just this is a good litmus test for the team. If you can beat the Giants, it's a good indicator of what other teams you can beat. If you lose to the Giants on the road, it's also going to indicate that now there's a whole other subset of games that maybe you shouldn't win that you thought you could. And so that, to me, is why it's a must-win. You've got to go out here and set the tone right away.
And nowadays, with the way the sports world, the landscape works, people tend to overreact a little bit. If they can't go out and get the win against the Giants, people are going to say, well, was Teddy the right quarterback choice? Maybe they should think about Drew. It puts an enormous amount of pressure on the week 2 game. It just sort of maybe we're not as good as we thought, that kind of talk in the locker room. You just don't want any of that, and a win kind of puts that all at bay. So that's why it's of course, not technically a must-win. They can still catch fire and later in the season win a bunch of games. But for this team, I just feel like a win would really go a long way. And if you want to make the playoffs, you got to beat teams like the Giants. The Giants could be a playoff team. I know that Peter Schrager, a little bit biased, but a good friend of the program, he, I think, has the Giants going to the playoffs.
Does sound a little bit biased, but you never know in the NFC East. Anything's
Jersey
possible.
guy.
Yep.
Maybe.
You said one thing there, Phil, about expectations for Teddy that maybe I meant to bring up before. I feel a little bit bad for Teddy because I think anything short of 3-0, people are going to feel a little bit disappointed.
Yeah.
And so I think it might be impossible for Teddy to do anything to bump his stock unless you go out and you win against the Ravens or the Steelers. I think almost wins the first 3 weeks, people are kind of, and this isn't fair, especially for a team that's been 0-7 in September. You should appreciate every win. But I think these first three, people are like, well, we should beat the Giants and the Jets and the Jags. Not in that order, but
yeah, that was an interesting way.
Giants and Jags and Jets. Oh my!
That's a mouthful, huh?
Yeah.
Are you writing like a little poem over there or something?
That'll be dropping on db.com.
Yeah, exactly. Eric, that's a nice way to transition into our final subject here, and that is predictions.
Ooh.
You got any predictions for this Week 1 game?
Yeah, I think that Von Miller, and we're going to do this every week.
Some predictions.
Yeah.
So
these shouldn't be lame predictions. Like, I'm not going to say the Broncos will score more than 3 points. That's a lame prediction. It'll probably come true.
Lame. That's lame.
This should be a little bit of a stretch.
Edgy.
My prediction, I think Von Miller and Bradley Chubb will combine for 4 sacks.
If Bradley Chubb is able to do it.
Yeah.
So that might be a lot on Von Miller.
That could be.
Wow.
Well, I'll say Von Miller and someone. Well, is that not fair?
Hedgehog. The hedgehog.
I'm the paper boy. Always deliver. I'll say Von Miller and Bradley Chubb, assuming they play, have 2 tubs. If Bradley Chubb doesn't play, then I'll go to an offensive prediction.
Oh, okay.
Unless I steal yours here.
No, let's go ahead.
That Jerry Jeudy will have more than 100 yards. Start the season on a really high note.
I like that. I was going to say the defense will have 3 takeaways.
Okay. I like that. That's a lot of take. That's a good. It'd be hard to have 3 takeaways and not win the game.
Is it? I think probably Justin Simmons might have. Oh, do we have a?
Ben Swanson is doing a terrible job.
We need security over here, please. Security. I was gonna say maybe Pat Surtain has one, but I'd be out on a limb.
Yeah, you don't. You
that
like
would be
it.
a big.
You like to stay wrapped up, cozy in your safe
Pat
little.
Surtain will have an interception in his rookie debut.
Wow.
His NFL debut. I'm going out on a limb.
Those are the same thing.
Yeah, I'm going out on a limb. I'll say that. And then let's say Javonte Williams will have 100 yards rushing.
Wow, I think that's much bolder than the Jeudy. I think
it is.
Because Jeudy,
and I'm bold.
Jeudy probably needs like 4 catches to get to 100 yards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once he catches that ball, he goes. And the Giants have a very good defense, so I feel like I'm taking a.
Yeah.
How about was that? I said Surtain will have an interception. I said Javonte Williams.
You're on the rookie bandwagon.
And 3 turnovers.
You all 3 of them. So do I need one more?
Well, no? You might be like a 2-person kind of guy, and I'm just a 3.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, that'll give you. I would. Here's my third one. I'll have more of my 2 come true than you will from your 3.
Oh, okay. That's a nice projection. You got a game projection, the final score here?
Yeah, I think the Broncos are going to win 23-13.
I like it.
I think and maybe that 13, I think maybe a late field goal from the Giants or something, or a late score.
Okay. 23-13.
I think in the second half, it's going to feel like the Broncos have this under control. I think Teddy Bridgewater, Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon pick up some crucial first downs. Okay. I think they're going to feel in control. 23-13. There'll be room to grow, but I think you're going to feel good about going on the road and having a double-digit win.
That will definitely be the sentiment after the game, is that there's room for improvement. That always happens. I'll say 27 Broncos, 14 Giants.
So bigger win than I'm projecting.
27-14. Yeah, that's what I'll say. I'll say they'll hit on a couple big plays,
So you think then 3 touchdowns?
Yeah, and a couple field goals. Yeah, that's what I think.
Because me, 23.
You could really have a lot of different
ways to get
there. I mean, you could get another safety. The Broncos got a safety in Minnesota.
Yeah.
They could do it again this week.
That's true.
Okay. Let's wrap things up with here, since it's the start of the season. You have a Super Bowl pick here?
Oh, man. Yeah.
You want to think about it more?
No, I'm
because I can just say mine.
Yeah, go for yours.
Okay, I'm going to take – this might be a little bit of a surprise for some people. I'm going to take, I think, the Cleveland Browns, I think.
You are so high on the Cleveland Browns.
I am. And I know that would buck tradition of the Browns underachieving.
Yes.
If they got over the hump, man. Well, I feel like they might be like the Buffalo Bills of this year, except maybe they'll win that game in the playoffs
Okay.
and just get there.
Okay.
I know a lot of people like the Bills in the AFC, but I really think that this Cleveland team's pretty good, especially if they stay healthy.
Yeah.
On the other side, this is a trendy pick, but the LA Rams.
Ooh.
I'm a big fan of Matthew Stafford. I understood why George Payton was exploring those talks. If Matthew Stafford was in Denver right now, I'd do a backflip right now. So I'm
Not with
buying
your
into
back,
that
you
hype.
wouldn't.
I would do one. So I'm going to take the Browns and the Rams.
Okay.
And we've got this is recording, so we'll go back and review the tape here.
Yeah, I probably can just remember it. I am going to go with the Bills. I think they've just got such a talented roster. I go with quarterback.
And you'll probably say the Tampa Bay.
That's right. Yeah. I will.
Perfect.
Josh Allen he's a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. That's all there is to it. I think that they will get past the Chiefs this year. I think
Where will that game be played?
Buffalo.
Oh,
And that place, man. Can you imagine
Nice
an
and
AFC
cold.
championship in Buffalo? Rocking.
You're going to be there and you'll jump through a table and you'll be on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of the above.
After some nice Breckenridge, you'll bring some Breckenridge.
Some Breckenridge Brewery
you.
beer from the farmhouse in Littleton.
Yep.
And then I'll jump through a table. No, I just think Josh Allen, you kind of look for these teams on the rise. The Browns are a good one. I think
Did you pick your other team?
the Buccaneers.
Oh, okay. And then who's going to win that?
I think Tampa will win.
Back to back.
Back to back. It's hard to bet against Tom Brady.
Okay.
They brought everybody back.
Wow.
I don't know that I believe the Matthew Stafford thing.
Okay.
I think the 49ers are going to win that division.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jimmy G?
Yeah, or Trey Lance.
Well, I think Jimmy G is.
Well, they said
he
they're
was
going
a
to run
captain.
some packages with Trey Lance.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, Kansas City. I think the receiver depth hurts you. Buffalo is just. I mean, they came to Denver last year, and you just saw what like a machine looked like. They just rolled through this team.
I kind of led you this way. My real pick is the Denver Broncos, Eric.
Yeah,
That's my real.
I thought
pick.
we were doing if we had to pick somebody else.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. That's right. That is true. That is what we were doing. Obviously the Broncos. Yeah. Just like your tie.
Exactly, little
Broncos.
horses. The little horses are
But
going
if
to
it's
go
not
all
the
way.
Broncos, I'm going to take the Browns.
Here's something interesting because I think if the Broncos get in the playoffs, they should be good enough to win a couple games.
Because they can run the ball and play defense.
They can run the ball in some cold weather. I mean, say the Titans.
Yeah. Tennessee Titans.
Say the Broncos are like the 7 seed or maybe the 6 seed. Say they somehow have to go to like Tennessee or
team that plays a similar brand of ball.
or Cleveland. Like I think they could go there and they could be right in that game and upset somebody.
Yeah.
So
So you're saying if they're good enough to get to that point,
They're
then
good enough
they
to win a
should be
couple
good
games.
enough to win a couple
yeah,
games.
because there are some teams every year where you get to the playoffs and you're like that team's not really any good. They lucked into being here.
Yeah.
But I think that the style of football that the Broncos should play should be good enough. I mean, we saw Teddy Bridgewater. He did enough where they should have beaten the Seahawks. They didn't miss a 19-yard field goal.
Yeah.
Tough.
It's no good. The season's over.
Exactly.
Tough. Our friend Paul Allen, very upset.
So if you're a Broncos fan and you're like, maybe we're not going to get the number 1 seed, it doesn't mean you can't do some damage in the playoffs once you get there. And we'll have to see. We're a long way from that. But
Yeah. Okay. So
I do think the Denver Broncos will make the postseason.
okay.
So
do I.
When we started to
You
talk about this
initially-
year back
yeah,
in April, I've seen
come
enough.
over to my side.
I've seen enough now from Teddy,
Yeah.
who, by the way,
I
months
had
ago,
already seen that months ago. I had seen all this.
I seem to remember in like July you predicting that Drew would be the starter. Roll the tape.
What?
But now that I've seen Teddy, I've seen Javonte Williams, I've seen this defense, I think that
That's what
10, 11 wins, probably 10, but I think that'll get you in as a 7 seed, and then you see what happens.
I'll say this. Right now, a lot of projections are coming in all across national media. Very few.
Kyle Brandt is one of the
Broncos.
few
Yeah.
picked them to make the playoffs.
I think that this
Not a
team
lot
is
of
good enough
respect.
to make the playoffs, too.
Yeah.
I do, too. I think 11. I think you're going to have to win about 11 games.
You think so?
Really good AFC side of the ball. So
I just think some of these teams like the
fall off. You think
well,
they're gonna fall
no,
off?
more like the Browns, Steelers, Ravens. I think they're going to beat up on each other a little bit. I think like the Patriots, Bills, Dolphins could beat up on each other.
Yeah.
This division could beat up on each other.
Okay.
So I think if you can find a way to get to 10,
Okay.
and
Might be good
if
enough.
you miss the playoffs at 10 and 7,
10 used to be good with 16 games.
yeah,
17, I think you're going to have to win an 11th.
yeah,
That's what I think. So we'll see. So you got the Buccaneers over the Bills.
I do.
Okay, and
I
I'm going to take
think that Bills defense not good enough
I'm
to
gonna-
quite win it all.
I'm going to take the Rams over
You just love
the
Matthew
Browns.
Stafford.
That's what I think. I think
Yeah.
Stafford might be MVP.
Okay.
You think
Josh
Josh
Allen MVP.
Got it. Justin Jefferson is that what you were saying? No. Oh, got it. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, I was a little confused. Okay, let's wrap up the show here. Any shout-outs that you'd like to get to?
Shout out to our friend Liz Geralds,
Yes.
who helped host a community event in person.
Play 60.
Play 60.
Express.
What does that mean?
16 Boys and Girls Club groups, branches of Metro Denver went down to Empower Field at Mile High, and they played 60.
I believe it was on Main Street.
Yes, that
MANE
that
Street.
bit of grass that leads right into
Used to be the
Ring of
Sports
Fame
Legends
Plaza.
Mall. I
Yeah,
believe.
exactly.
Now Main
Street.
Main Way, something like that.
Yeah, really cool. Pat Surtain was out there.
Yeah.
The rookie
Big
out
community
there. Browning was out there. That was nice. So, yeah, get the rookies going. Of course, Justin Simmons and Dalton Rice
Yeah,
there. Of course,
obviously.
I mean they were of
Yeah.
course there.
Shout out to the team captains, Phil.
Yes, can you name them all?
Yeah, of course I can. Teddy Bridgewater, Cortland Sutton, Von Miller, Justin Simmons, Kareem Jackson, Brandon McManus.
I see the McManus. I thought maybe you'd.
No.
BMAC is a captain.
Yeah, special teams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. How about shout out Breckenridge Brewery at the farmhouse?
Let's go.
Yeah, that's where the neutral zone will be recording live every Monday at 6 p.m.
We expect people to be there.
A lot of NZ. Let us know if you're going to be there. We'll take pictures with you
Yeah, we'll sign
in a
autographs.
safe way.
Phil will sign your forehead.
Yes. Yeah. I'm very excited about this.
Yeah, Jeff Flanagan, tell your boss you can't work. You
Uh,
got to be there on Monday
yeah.
night. Just to send us your receipt. We'll expense the flight, maybe, potentially.
I don't think so. Maybe straight out of your paycheck.
Not big enough.
Let me
for
ask
that.
you this, Eric.
Yeah.
We're a little bit goofy on here.
Yeah.
Are we still going to be goofy?
I think within reason.
Oh, you're going to tone it down a little.
Not too much. You got to have
I
the
don't want
personality.
you toning it down too much.
Yeah.
Because we need it. We need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Breckenridge Brewery is going to be confused who Liz Gerald's is, but they're going to have to figure it
They're gonna
out.
have to figure it out.
We typically haven't done shout-outs on the Monday show when we get in season.
Oh God, it's pretty. That Monday one's pretty serious.
Yeah. It can still be fun.
We got to be a little bit goofy.
Yeah.
Because we're still going to post the show just like normal.
We will, yeah, so don't worry. It's
Yeah.
not like you're no
it's still
longer
gonna
going
be
to
there.
hear the Monday show.
Tuesday morning when you're driving home or driving to work. I mean,
Yep.
'Cause sometimes I call work home. You know.
Exactly.
When I type in my GPS and it's like home or work,
What do you?
I get confused
when you
sometimes.
say drive, what do you? Because I never leave here.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
So where would I
It is
drive
com-
to?
Yeah, you don't have any commute, huh?
No, I got a little
you're
cot
there.
tucked under my desk.
Yep. It's nice.
Defend the
It's
desk.
nice. Okay. Yeah, so we'll see you out there on Monday if you can make it.
Can't wait. The
Anything
Hoff
else
will
you
be
want to
there.
say? Yeah, the Hoff is going to be there.
Nope, I think we're good.
Okay. We'll be there next Monday. Excited to get this thing rolling. Until then, for Eric Dalala, I'm Phil Milani. You've been listening to
The Neutral Zone.